Welcome to DLA Hour, an in-depth conversational interview platform where ideas meet leadership and vision meets the people. This is the space where members of the Democratic Leadership Alliance engage with citizens, clarify policies, respond to national issues, and present solutions that move our nation forward. On DLA Hour, we don't just talk politics, we unpack vision, accountability, and the roadmap to responsible governance. My name is Omotola Adeleke. Don't forget to follow, like, share, and subscribe to DLA Nigeria on all social media platforms. And of course, I have right here with me the national chairman of the Democratic Leadership Alliance, in the person of Barrister Memeh. Barrister Samuel, you're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much, Adeleke, for having me. Good afternoon, Nigerians. Thank you, viewers.
All right. Today, we are discussing balancing economic reforms with social protection. As government pushes policies aimed at stabilizing the economy, many Nigerians are asking, are these reforms easing hardship or deepening it? Can fiscal discipline go hand in hand with real support for the vulnerable? On today's episode of DLR, the party examines the coexistence of economic recovery and social responsibility. Once again, Barrister Memeh, you're welcome to DLR.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Yeah, okay, let's start this way. In most cases, opposition leaders come with promises of, economic reform, positive economic reform. They come with ideas that are people-oriented. But once they get into power, they become silent. Things begin to change. And it seemed like opposition parties come on air to talk about those reforms and going to power do the opposite. So what makes DLA different in this regard?
Well, your question is quite a very large question that requires, an ample time to respond to some of these things. It has to do with conscience, first and foremost. Then it also has to do with leadership ability and capacity, to deliver on good governance. And that is the reason it also has to do with failure in contractual agreement, between the government and the governed. And the question now is, what should the citizens begin to do? Not what the politicians must do all the time to negatively affect, the life of the people. So having said that, in most cases you find out that, just like you mentioned, the politicians will campaign with positive economic reforms, with so much enthusiasm, and when they get into power, they find themselves doing the opposite. Just like you see what is going on today. Remember in 2015, prior to the 2015, there were some group of people in this country, group of politicians, led by Muhammadu Barr, people like Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Rotimi Amechi, and Tunde Bakare, quite a lot of prominent Nigerians. And they staged some level of protest against the government at that time. And they said, look, we are not so comfortable with what is going on in this country. There appears to be that the Goodluck Jonathan administration, want to kill this country. Unfortunately, I was part of those who, criticized Goodluck Jonathan, particularly from 2011, 2012, because we felt that he was not taking proactive steps in addressing the issues affecting us as a people. And they rode on a mantra of change. That means there's a need for us to change the system of the country and begin to address things differently.
Okay.
And of course, Nigerians, being who we are, fell into the rhetorics. I never, in as much as I was not so comfortable with the Goodluck Jonathan's administration, I knew for sure that where we are going to, or the other option in the person of former President Muhammadu Barr was not a better option. But we all have our reasons for concluding about our judgment as a people, particularly when it comes to voting and entrusting people with power. So, the minority will have their say and the majority will have their way, and the government came into power. But unfortunately, over the years, if you look at from the independence of Nigeria, after the independence, we've had successive government and the country keep going down. And the question is, who will rescue this country? Why is it that everyone appears to be so deceitful? Why is it that the political class are so deceitful? And when you look at those in government as at the time before the 2015, which is the PDP, all of them, including the Akpabio of this world, Aerofied, and the rest of them, they were all in PDP, don't forget.
Okay.
And Rotimi Amechi, and quite a lot of them. They are just a quite mix of people. Sometimes in a particular year, they may choose to be on the other side.
Okay.
In some other year, they may choose to be on the other side, and this is still cycle within them. But you have seen the trajectory that over the years, these people keep failing. Many of them were in PDP. Today, they are in the APC.
today.
And now you now have what appears to be like one kind of one-party state in this country. So that is to let you know that the people that have been tested over the years, they are not worthy to be trusted with power.
So what makes DLA trustworthy to hold power if it eventually holds power?
That is where there comes with the intention. And the real statement, we think about the future of the country.
Okay.
We think about the country, why the politicians will think about the elections. And if you look at, from the time that this current administration came on board in 2023, from that same day, the administration began campaign for 2027. All they want is to continue to remain in power. Now, for us as a political party, we are not just a political party as a vehicle for getting into power. That is ordinarily going to be the benefits of the political party, the result of the political party in terms of their programs, their activities, and the level of how much they want to engage in Nigerians and engage the members.
So
of the party.
are you saying DLA is not solely for politicking per se?
No. It's for leadership recruitment process. It's for economic advancement for the country. It provides opportunity for, particularly in the area of training, in the area of innovation for members, social orientation, and is a movement of people who really want to see a real change in this country. And we are not asking for Nigerians to give us power first. We want to practicalize the programs of the party.
Okay.
And all of these things would now address the issue about ideology, about principles, and about the issue of trust, most importantly. And that is where we are right now. That is where we want to begin from. And thereafter, and between now and 2027, we should have been able to gain more ground, and know how we can be able to.
All right. Do you think, just like you just mentioned, between now and the year 2027, do you think that span of months, because it's months right now, it's not even years anymore, do you think that's enough to prove to Nigerians that DLA is worth it?
Yes, to prove to Nigeria is not a task that must be achieved. It is for all progressive Nigerians, to begin to join the movement and to begin to align with the ideology of the party, to begin to align with the ideology that can make this country great. Because the DLA you find today is just a few people right now, but as the movement grows stronger, you're going to have more Nigerians coming in and to join the fold, particularly Nigerians who solely desire for institutional change in this country. So quite a lot of things. For us as a party, between now and the 2027 election, we know that we are in a very dire situation in this country, and we are in a war front, most importantly. And both political war fronts, economic war fronts, and the leadership war front. So we are going to take it as we go. We have time, and we are doing everything day and night as a political party to begin to structure our system and to get us more balance for the task ahead to bring about the effective leadership and governance for Nigeria.
So, the reason why I'm asking this question is this. The DLA is a new political party. You understand? The DLA came up on board. In fact, the registration was not too long ago. And the time stretch is short. Don't forget we have 2027 general elections. We have the APC also vying for power again. We have the PDP, opposition political party, also pushing despite the crisis that they have. we have the ADC, we have the LP, and other political parties that have been existing before you. And that's what I'm asking. 8 months or 9 months, let's say, is 9 months enough to popularize the Democratic Leadership Alliance?
Well,
because the time is short. You seem too sure, that Nigerians are going to be convinced that DLA is here to stay, that if DLA, holds power, it's going to be sustained, and economic reform wouldn't even be a problem.
Yeah, like I said, I can tell you categorically, in view of the current Electoral Act, I can say that DLA is the most popular political party in Nigeria today. And the political party you then refer to as the old political parties do not even have the infrastructure to maintain membership register, unfortunately.
Including the APC?
Okay, probably.
Despite the e-registration portal and all that.
And of course, the APC, they already had the knowledge about all was about to happen. And because we are a political party of advanced political party, technologically driven political party, we have been able to put up our infrastructure, our systems together. All our membership register are in line, in compliance with the newly signed Electoral Act.
Okay.
And that is to say that the party is fully positioned, to participate in all levels of elections coming up in 2027. And now the question now is, the period for campaigns.
Okay.
We all have equal opportunity to campaign. We all have equal. It's a matter of who are the representative of the party in terms of their visibility and all of those things. But most importantly, we are going to engage Nigerians, and we're going to engage Nigerians to say, look, you don't need to just trust the party, because you are not voting for the individual, but you are voting for the party. It is the party that will drive the agenda or the programs and the ideology of our economic developmental plans and the issues of leadership advocacy. So at all levels, the party already had a comprehensive manifesto to drive the agenda of the intentions and aspirations of the party that represents the interest of the members and the larger citizens of Nigeria.
Okay.
So, that having said that, it therefore means that we know that the time is short. We are not so worried about that. We have our congresses coming up in the month of April. We also are planning towards our primary elections. We're going to follow all due process of law to fill in our candidates at all levels, in all states, and even at the federal level. And we participate with full confidence, knowing that Nigerians need the DLA right now, to thrive and to get to the promised land.
All
where
right.
we generally desire.
All right. You seem so sure that the DLA have been doing their homework even before the registration happened, by INEC. It seems the DLA is actually really prepared for, not just the 2027 election, but for empowerment generally. Now, Barrister Memeh, beyond politics, you understand governance. In fact, you've been seeing how governance have been playing in successive government. Now, if DLA was to be in power, because I've always wanted to ask this question, if DLA was to be in power, how long is enough for Nigerians to see positive reforms? Now, I'm asking this question with reference to what the ADC chieftain, Mr. Peter Obi, said one time, that he only wants to serve for 4 years. One term is enough to transform Nigeria into what people will say, yes, this is real change. So how long do you think, personally, in your opinion, how long is enough for Nigerians to see good reforms? And can the DLA achieve, in that perhaps a short period of time, perhaps a medium time, or it might even be a long time? But how long do you think is enough for Nigerians to see positive reforms in Nigeria?
Well, when we talk about reforms, in Nigeria, reforms would go into different sectors of the country. Talking about the industries, the electricity, issue of power, issues of development, and most importantly, agricultural reforms, and what have you. Quite a lot of so many areas that requires input, and even in the area of leadership recruitment and trust, on the parts of those leading this country. Now, for us, we have our clear mandate as specified in our manifestos, and we are going to be guided by the principles that establish the political party for the purpose and benefit of Nigeria. Nigeria is a country, and governance is a continuous process.
Okay.
And for at that point, you find out that no matter what you do, most importantly, you must begin to address critical issues that can begin to rekindle confidence in the life of Nigerians. For us, one thing that we must tackle almost immediately, just with the speed of light that the president removed the issues of fuel subsidy, is to address the issues of insecurity in the country.
Okay.
And you cannot address the issues of insecurity without economic improvement. Of course, the issues of accountability, the issues of honesty in governance,
corruption and all.
And corruption and the rest of them. Now, one thing that actually hits so much in the heart of the insecurity in this country has to do with the issues of movement of cattle in Nigeria. And I keep saying it all the time, and when we say it, it looks like it's a common thing. It doesn't really have so much bearing. But it has so much to affect the insecurity in the deep parts of Nigeria, the interior areas. Now, what you see at that level, and this has affected the economy standard of this country in so many ways. For those who would have naturally want to go into agriculture at the rural area, they cannot farm. They don't have the ability to farm because they don't have the security protection. The herders, the nomadic herders who move these cattle from one state to another, going through the farmlands, and in most cases, when they are confronted, the farmers are killed. This is a very big challenge for us as a people. And that is why you see it's affected the prices of items in this country. It has also affected the exchange rate in this country, because you are having finding more people in the country that are jobless. The young Nigerians who would have remained in their communities and carry out the activities of farming cannot go to farm. So when we begin to, assess governance as a political party at all levels, we'll begin to push and we'll begin to advocate for total restriction. It is not just about restricting the movement of cattle.
Okay.
We also have developmental plans for the process of cattle rearing in Nigeria. But most importantly, once we begin to assess governance in this country at any level, we'll begin to bring in the policies which has already been outlined to restrict movement of cattle in Nigeria, to bring peace to the communities, to restore confidence to farmers so that they can begin to go back to farm, and that automatically bring in some level of employment and engagement by youths, women, and men in the rural areas.
All right. I asked this question because, a couple of times we've heard this statement. The statement you just made that government is a continuum. Governance is a continuum. We've been hearing, this statement for donkey years. Lots of Nigerians are even tired of hearing government is a continuum. You know why? Because PDP was in power for around 16 years. APC is leading to almost 12 years already, or perhaps even more than. You understand? So government has always been a continuum, but yet no visible change. And I'm sure Nigerians out there, might be happy to hear that, okay, in this period of time, this is going to be done. And real reforms are going to be made. Real visible reforms are going to be made. And that's what I'm asking. What is the duration of time Nigerians should expect from a party like DLA for visibility of these reforms?
Now, it has to do with to whom much is given,
much is expected.
As a political party, before we go into governance, like I mentioned to you, we are going to set up industries as a political party. We're going to set up systems that will run for the benefits of our members and to implement some of the agendas of the party.
Is this going to be an immediate thing? Is this going to be a month-to-month basis thing? Or is it going to take a couple years before this is achieved?
No, some of these plans are already ongoing. We already commenced our programs for training, leadership trainings. We also have our affiliates and partners, within the country and outside the country for the purpose of training our young people on ICT-driven programs and the area science behind manufacturing and production across board for certain areas, which include renewable energy and the rest of them. So as a political party, we intend to set up institutions that will run systems and production to show examples to Nigeria. And that is going to continue even when we go into governance. We must be able to distinguish and institutionalize political party from the issues of governance and the activities of government. Now, what that simply means is you are trying to find out how long it will take the party to correct the ills over the years. That is why I said that governance is a process, is a continuous activity. So, to whom much is given simply means if and when we are able to secure certain jurisdictions and votes, it depends on what Nigerians can trust us with at this level of 2027 elections. If it is at the level of presidential elections, at the level of governorship elections, and certain areas that we have been able to achieve results, achieve possible impacts, having representatives, that is where you begin to see to the level to which we can contribute to the nation.
All right.
Building.
Okay. I want a very short answer on this. For someone like a Mr. Peter Obi to say 4 years is enough, do you think 4 years is enough for Nigerians to see a transformation in Nigeria? A quick one. Is 4 years solely enough?
4 years is enough to take drastic decisions that can affect positively on the life of Nigeria. But when the 4 years expire and you give the governance to evil people, for those who do not mean well for this country,
the system you built then
scatters. The system will begin to go down. That is why I said governance is a continuous process. So if you have Mr. Peter Obi coming in to say, I want to do 4 years and I want to take critical decisions that will affect positively the life of Nigerians, you can see where we are today for the journey of about 3 years now down the line since this current administration came on board. You can see to the level at which this country has damaged in the last 3 years. So it is still possible to gain so much within the space of 4 years. It's about the decisions you take to destroy the country, another decision taken to rebuild the country. And that is why I said, imagine living in a country where you have government, the presence of government at all levels, and they are even massively campaigning. Then you have a sect of people, farmers, you have the cattle rearers,
okay,
and you have the crop farmers and the rest of them. And the other farmers don't have say in terms, they don't have protection. The cattle rearers, who naturally are not the owners of land, can go into your farmlands, graze on your land. There is no policy by this government to address the issue, to protect the citizens who are farmers in this country.
All right. Quickly, let's...
So that is to tell you that a single policy of government that can address this issue to protect farmers will make a great deal that you can't even imagine the level of prosperity to bring to this country.
All right. Thank you very much, Barrister Memeh, for that one. Let's quickly run into the most recent report on value-added tax. Now, a report just came up on board yesterday that VAT has increased as of January 2026, that the data was released. Over 1 trillion naira was made in terms of VAT. Now, this is compared to around 913 billion naira that was made in December last year. This shows an increase, in value-added tax. Now, despite the fact that we have this increase in tax, does this show economic growth? Or does it show that Nigerians have been sucked dry as a result of the new tax laws?
You see, when you have a group of people that are in corridor of power, men without conscience, men who believe that all they care about is to continue to add more to themselves, to their families, and to their cronies. That is what you see. How have you seen this whole overburden of taxes? The other day I went to the barbering salon to get my hair cut, and the lady directed me to the notice that is, I need to pay VAT for cutting my hair. And I raised issues, though I paid, but when I went back the following week, they had removed the VAT. But I threatened I was going to petition that their barbering salon. Now, the question now is, the ones that they have collected, what is the certainty that it will be remitted to the government? The government has given a loophole for dealers out there to have access to dupe Nigerians to dry. And there are some stores you go, restaurants, and everything they sell to you, they have added VAT. And some of these VAT are remitted to the government, some are not remitted. But the law has made it, they give this impression that anything you do and every money that comes into your account, the government must collect something from it. And when you look at the VAT, the tax law, again, you discover that it is a law that aims to give so much to the government without accountability.
Is it actually about giving so much to the government, or it is about giving, tax, of course, is not an illegal thing. Tax is usual. In fact, every country all over the world pays tax.
And that's why I say without accountability.
Okay.
A government that cannot account for what they receive, for what they generate, that is not a government that should be trusted.
So you're not worried about the amount of tax that is being received from Nigerians?
I'm worried. I'm worried because these monies that have been extorted from Nigerians.
Extorted, you say?
Yes. These monies would end up into private pockets because quite a lot of indices, quite a lot of things going on in this country. Let the government begin to prove to Nigerians by real projects that they are carrying out if they were doing enough, because they have been getting so much and the country keeps going down.
All right. Barrister, if DLA was to be in power, how would you have regulated tax collection? Would you have done it the way they did it? Or would you have probably done it in a way that Nigerians might not have felt the hardship that it came with?
You see, when it comes to the issues of governance and law, the government has a responsibility that they must offer to the citizens. The citizens have a responsibility for what they must offer to the government. Now, if what the citizens must give to the government have so much power to ensure that they get these things at all costs by using the instrumentality of law to get these things, then what about the things and the promises that is promised in the laws, the issues of governance, commitments on behalf of the government that they must give to the people? Don't forget that the current president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, during his campaign in 2023, said that if he cannot deliver on the issue of power, electricity in Nigeria,
he will step down.
That Nigeria should not vote for him. Today, where is electricity? The insecurity in this country has increased. The current president of Nigeria, the government led by the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu today, has not been able to address the issue of insecurity in this country. People are being killed. People are being taken from churches. People are being taken from their homes. The security agents are helpless. And I will tell you that there's no amount of security you put in place without addressing the issues of economic prosperity for the country that can douse down the insecurity in this country.
All right.
So they must move side by side. While you are trying to arrest those who are committing heinous crimes, you should also, on the other hand, bring about programs that can bring about prosperity and development.
So you're saying, in essence, it should not just be about collection of tax.
In essence, it's not about collection of tax. Collection of tax without accountability is thuggery, is thievery. You are comparing the citizens to pay tax. How will the citizens compare you to provide security? How will the citizens compare you to provide good roads? How will the citizen compare you to provide social amenities? How will the citizen compare you to bring in industries into the country?
All right.
So when it comes to what you must get from the citizens, you follow the laws. You implement the laws. You use the security to implement the laws. You use the agencies of government to implement the laws. But what about your commitment? What about your commitment to the citizens? So how will the citizens now enforce their rights and ensure that they hold government accountable?
All right, Barrister, because of time, I would like to ask you this question. You know, the World Bank initially just mentioned that the economies of a country like Nigeria and other developing economies and other countries, you know, is leading to a point of employment crisis. Or should I say unemployment crisis? For a party like DLA, how do you suggest the issue of unemployment can be resolved?
You know, Nigeria is a country blessed with natural and human resources. I have stated one thing, that if you address the issues of security in our communities, in our farmlands, you must have addressed almost 20% of the issues of unemployment without even bringing about the industries. So once you are able to implement policies that addresses security at the local communities, once the farmers can go back to farm and plant their crops, come back, meet their crops intact. Once you're able to make policies from the federal level, from the federal government, to address the issues of restriction of movement of cattle, knowing fully well that those who are in that business are private business owners, so they must provide an enabling environment for them to run their businesses. Once you have been able to address that, somehow you have given some level of light to the developmental sectors of this country.
Okay.
The other aspect will now be, what is the driving force of the political party? Beside agriculture, we are a political party driven by science and technology. As a political party, we want to build industries that will manufacture electronics, that will manufacture renewable energy programs, run and powered by the government, and to be managed by the private sectors, and ensure accountability, transparency in these industries, to ensure that a country such as Nigeria can begin to manufacture vehicles, can begin to look into manufacture systems, laptops, electronic gadgets, and begin to bring in about employment, real-time employment for young Nigerians who want to aspire to us. Now, of course, you can see the world is not waiting for Nigeria. All over the world, things are going on. This is a country, the only country that is basically down among other African countries. There is quite a lot of problem with African countries. But we must begin to address these issues that affect us as a people. And some of these areas will be that, first, we must address the issue of insecurity, address the issues of industries and industrialization of Nigeria at all levels, both especially in the area of science and technology. That automatically can solve the issues of unemployment in Nigeria.
All right, Barrister Memeh, thank you very much. You know, if we're to talk about the issue of economic reforms, we might not even leave here today because the topic is an expanded one. The topic is a topic that I don't think 30 minutes can even, be enough to discuss about it. But of course, we're still going to, this is just one of the episodes of DLA Hour. Upcoming episodes will come up on board, and by the special grace, perhaps we'll exhaust some of these questions that has to do with economic reforms. I wanted to ask you a question. Maybe the next time we'll see you, I would ask that particular question. It's also on economic reforms, but this time relating to social investment. Maybe the producers will probably excuse me to just ask you this question before we just go. We're going to use this to wrap it up, please. On social investment, we've had couple times the present government, not just the present government, the former President Barr also used what we call cash transfer. In fact, cash transfer was the topic of the day during former president, late President Buhari, during his administration. Do you think the issue of cash transfer can ameliorate poverty in Nigeria? Because, the APC social investment program is circled around cash transfer. Do you think that helps to a certain extent? Before we go.
No, totally. I can never subscribe to that kind of policy. It is a policy, in my opinion, that tends to manipulate the people. If for every reasonable government who really want to bring about good governance, there's nothing really wrong when government decides to give out certain amount of money to citizens if it is done in the best transparent way. It shouldn't be with some level of hidden agenda, or where this compilation is to be done, it will be compiled from states where EPC or the ruling government is covering, and the local government, and in most cases, you find out that many persons who benefit, these are issues in the public domain, that many persons, even the few persons who benefit from some of these things, and of course, these numbers are normally, increase. When they give cash transfer to 10 persons, they will tell you it's 1,000 persons, and they don't even make it open for accountability. And the few persons who benefit are members of the ruling government.
All right.
So, but let me round up this question.
Okay.
What that simply means is that the agenda of this project is to benefit certain persons in governance, and not essentially for the purpose of really doing good for the citizens. You cannot impoverish the people and you are giving them peanuts. For what purpose? What the government should begin to do is to address the issues that affect the majority of Nigerians, not selective
dashing of money.
Dashing of money in how much are they giving out right now?
Yes, sometimes 50,000 naira, sometimes 30,000 naira given to people, and that's why I'm asking. Giving 30,000 naira,
this money,
giving 50. Is that going to actually benefit people? Is that going to actually take people away from poverty if you're giving them 30,000 naira, even if it's going to last for 6 months, even if it's going to last for 2 years? Can 30,000 naira, 50,000 naira cash transfer, which is the idea of social investment, under the APC, can that actually ameliorate poverty? Can it take hardship away from Nigerians?
If you want to answer that question correctly, you go and check some of the budgets by various states and, let's say, federal government budgets, and look at the amount of money that has been kept for feeding of dogs and some animals in the villa. Then you now look at it side by side, the money they are paying in terms of this cash transfer. But again, this cash transfer thing is not the right policy that Nigerians really need. It's not impactful. It's not in any way going to help, and not even to help the persons that is even receiving this money. It is a way to impoverish the people. It's a way to cage the mind of the people. It's a way to enslave the beneficiary, the few beneficiaries, and at the end of the day, they will increase the numbers as if they have done something good.
All right, thank you very much, Barrister Memeh. Of course, before we go, just like I would always do, what are your conclusive statements in just 60 seconds?
Well, my conclusive statement is for the members of the Democratic Leadership Alliance and other prospective members who want to join this movement, that they should begin to come into the party. For those who have the like minds, those who believe that Nigeria must move forward, those who believe in institutionalizing political party system, those who believe that for us as a people to get our leadership right, we must begin to train our leaders to breed a fresh breath of leaders that can be able to take us out of this dungeon. Not the retired and tired leaders who had refused to leave the corridors of power, those who have impoverished the Nigerians, those who have been tested and they can never be trusted.
All right.
Not the kind of people we have at the National Assembly. These people should be removed. The people we have at the presidency should begin to interrogate them and possibly remove them
All
bring
right.
in fresh leaders. To govern this country.
Barrister Memeh, I think that should be another topic for another day. You know, that's very strong, and I think we're definitely going to talk about it one of these days on daily DLA Hour. Now, that brings us to the end of DLA Hour. Thank you very much once again, Barrister Memeh, for your contributions. And join us in our next episode on DLA Hour. Don't forget, you can follow, like, share, drop your comment, and also subscribe to DLA Nigeria on all social media platforms. My name is Omotola Adeleke. Bye for now.
Nelson Mandela once said, "True leadership is not about power, but about service." We believe Nigeria can do better, and we believe Nigeria must do better. We are building more than a party. We are building a disciplined ideological movement. Our mission is equally bold: to transform Nigeria by raising principled and people-focused leaders, where leadership means service, where integrity is non-negotiable, and where the future of our children comes first. Hello, my name is Barrister Memeh, the National Chairman of the Democratic Leadership Alliance, DLA. The Democratic Leadership Alliance is not just another political party. The DLA stands as Nigeria's first ideologically driven political movement, firmly rooted in Pan-African philosophy and committed to truth, justice, innovation, and the welfare of the people. At a time when our nation faces deep economic hardship, social fragmentation, insecurity, and institutional decline, DLA emerges as a movement of hope, discipline, and purposeful action. We believe Nigeria can do better, and we believe Nigeria must do better. Our vision is clear: to build a socially developed, economically just, technologically advanced, and ethically governed Nigeria. A nation united in its diversity and respected across Africa and the world. Our mission is equally bold: to transform Nigeria by raising principled and people-focused leaders, by reforming institutions to serve justice and equity, and by driving inclusive development rooted in Pan-African values, science, innovation, and accountability. We are building more than a party. We are building a disciplined ideological movement, a platform where leadership means service, where integrity is non-negotiable, and where the future of our children comes first. Today, I invite you to be part of this historic movement. Visit www.dlanigeria.org. Complete your registration. Join the Democratic Leadership Alliance. This is more than politics. This is a national awakening, a call to responsible citizenship, a struggle for renewal. Together, we can build a Nigeria that truly works for all. As Nelson Mandela once said, true leadership is not about power, but about service. Let us rise to serve. God bless the Democratic Leadership Alliance. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.